Harper One and Harper Audio present Leap Over a Wall, Earthy Spirituality for Everyday Christians by Eugene H. Peterson. Read by Arthur Morey. For Leaf. Love words, love mountains. Acknowledgements and a note to the reader. I have been fortunate in having lived and worked among people who have loved God's Word in stories and listened to me tell those stories in a number of different ways and settings. The congregation of Christ Our King Presbyterian Church, Bel Air, Maryland, students at Regent College, Vancouver, Canada, and assorted gatherings of people in retreats and conferences, colleges and seminaries across North America. The intensity and prayer with which so many of them listened, entered into, and responded to these seminal spirit-shaping David stories, in turn yielded insights that eventually got worked into the storytelling itself. Two persons in particular stand out. Hebrew scholar Walter E. Brown, in his careful reading of the manuscript and generous exegetical remarks that so much improved the accuracy of my writing, and artist Louise Wheatley, in making works of art from these stories, both in her textiles and in her life. The Revised Standard Version, RSV, of the Scriptures has been used throughout. Exceptions are noted in the text. The Gospel epigraphs for each chapter and the Psalms that are inserted at appropriate places in the text are from The Message, New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs, Nav Press, 1995. 1. Stories. David and Jesus. 1 Samuel chapter 16 to 1 Kings chapter 2. All Jesus did that day was tell stories, a long storytelling afternoon. His storytelling fulfilled the prophecy, I will open my mouth and tell stories. I will bring out into the open things hidden since the world's first day. Matthew chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. I had a storytelling mother, and heard these David stories first from her. I usually heard them at bedtime, but there were other occasions also that provided containers for story. Thunderstorms in the summer and blizzards in the winter were storytelling times. To this day, winter and summer storms and the darkness that nudges towards sleep are redolent with story. My mother was good with words. She was also good with tones. In her storytelling, I not only saw whole worlds come into being, I felt them within me through the timbre of her voice. She told stories of her parents who had brought 11 children from Norway to the sparsely populated but promised land of Montana to begin a new life. In the first few years after their settling in, she and her sister were born, making 13 in all. By the time I was born, her parents and some of her brothers and sisters were dead, but they never seemed dead. The stories kept them alive in me. Norwegian trolls and giants got mixed into the storytelling as well. There were times when I wasn't sure where the trolls left off and my uncles began. The whole enterprise took on a huge mythological grandeur. Mostly, though, she told Bible stories. And among Bible stories, the David stories took pride of place. Not to the exclusion of Moses and Elijah and Jesus, but something in her narrative imagination kicked in with extra energy in the David stories. The David stories formed the basic ground plan for learning about and understanding what it meant to grow up human and Christian. In those stories, the two words, human and Christian, became synonyms. When I was older and reading the Bible for myself, I was surprised but also a little disappointed to find that some of the details that I loved most were extra-canonical. She didn't scruple, I realized, to considerably improve the biblical version when she felt like it, but I also realized in my adult assessment of her narrative practice that she rarely, if ever, violated or distorted the story itself. She held the entire story from Genesis to Revelation in her believing imagination, with Jesus
Sample complete. Ready to continue?